Cynthia, my melon, you must be tired and hungry. Come, eat my meal I made specially for you. In a hidden corner of the world, nestled deep within an ancient forest, there existed a school unlike any other, a school of witches. This was no ordinary institution. It was a place where special children with extraordinary gifts were sent to learn, harness and master their powers. These children were not the kind to ride buses or walk home after class. Instead, they vanished into thin air, flew on broomsticks, or transformed into creatures of the night when the holidays came around. But among these gifted children, there was one who stood out. Her name was Cynthia. Cynthia was different from the rest. Her gift was extraordinary, for surpassing the abilities of the other children. She could turn a mere piece of paper into money by crying upon it. Without any formal training, she could perform magic that left others in awe. With a simple glance at the sky, she could summon the rain and make it stop just as easily. However, despite her immense powers, Cynthia kept them hidden, practicing in secret away from the prying eyes of those who might wish her harm. Cynthia's life had been marked by tragedy from a young age. Her parents, once powerful witches themselves, had died under mysterious circumstances, leaving her in the care of her cruel and greedy uncles. They saw her not as a child to be cherished, but as a burden and an opportunity. Knowing that she had no one to protect her, they sold her to the school as a mere cleaner. Here, in the very place where her talent would have flourished, Cynthia was treated as nothing more than a lowly servant. The other children at the school, gifted as they were, did not recognize the depth of Cynthia's powers. They mocked her relentlessly, using their magic to humiliate and intimidate her at every turn. They would cast spells to trip her as she walked, make her cleaning tools fly out of reach, and even transform her food into something inedible. But Cynthia never retaliated. She remained calm, enduring their cruelty in silence, knowing that her time would come. While the other students flaunted their powers under the guidance of the teachers, Cynthia honed her skills in secret. The teachers at the school often demonstrated their abilities, calling down storms, turning day into night, or flying on bamboo sticks. What they didn't know was that Cynthia, hidden away in the shadows, would silently undo their spells. She would stop the rain, bring back the daylight, and ground the bamboo sticks, all without anyone noticing her intervention. She even had the power to freeze other gifted children, but she never used it against them, preferring to keep her abilities hidden. Life at the school was harsh for Cynthia. The headmistress, a woman as cruel as she was powerful, ruled the school with an iron fist. She had once sacrificed her only child to gain her powers, and she harbored a deep resentment for anyone she perceived as a threat. The headmistress took particular delight in tormenting Cynthia, sensing something unusual about the girl but unable to pinpoint what it was. She would deny Cynthia food and water for days, force her to walk until she collapsed from exhaustion, and subject her to endless ridicule in front of the other students. But as Cynthia grew older, the headmistress began to notice something strange. There was an aura around Cynthia, a subtle, almost imperceptible power that seemed to protect her from harm. No matter how hard the headmistress tried to break her, Cynthia remained unscathed. This only fueled the headmistress' obsession. She became determined to discover the source of Cynthia's strength and, more importantly, to take it for herself. The headmistress began to spy on Cynthia, watching her every move, trying to catch her using her magic. But Cynthia was careful. She practiced her powers only in secret, always aware that the headmistress was lurking nearby. Every time the headmistress tried to harm her, something would go wrong. A spell would backfire, an object would mysteriously move out of the way, or a sudden gust of wind would knock the headmistress off balance. It was as if the universe itself was protecting Cynthia. One day, she chanted a wild animal to attack Cynthia while on her way to fetch firewood from the bush. The lion was controlled by Cynthia. She spoke to the lion like a human and came back to the dormitory. When the headmistress saw Cynthia back, she was shocked to her skin and left to her witch office angrily. Frustrated and desperate, the headmistress devised a devious plan. She knew that direct confrontation would not work, so she resorted to trickery. She prepared a secret potion, one that would strip Cynthia of all her powers, leaving her defenseless. One evening, under the guise of a rare act of kindness, the headmistress offered Cynthia a meal, something she had never done before. She said, "Cynthia, my melon, you must be tired and hungry. Come, eat my meal. I made specially for you." Melon was the name the headmistress called all her subjects. She turned them to different fruits whenever they disobeyed. So, if they come to the school, they are always given different names. In this case, Cynthia's name was Melon. So Cynthia, hungry and tired, accepted the food without suspicion. But as soon as she swallowed the first bite, she felt a strange sensation wash over her. Her strength began to fade, her vision blurred, and her powers, which had always been a part of her, slipped away. The headmistress wasted no time. With Cynthia's powers gone, she had her locked away in a dark, cold cell at the very bottom of the school. The cell was designed to suppress any remaining magic, ensuring that Cynthia would be completely powerless. The headmistress then unleashed her full wrath upon the city, using the power she had stolen from Cynthia to enslave the people and take all their wealth for herself. The once peaceful city was plunged into chaos, and the other gifted children who had once mocked Cynthia were now forced to serve the headmistress in her evil schemes. The city's despair grew as the headmistress' power tightened its grip. She turned day into night, caused rivers to dry up, and made the very ground shake beneath the people's feet. The citizens lived in constant fear, knowing that at any moment the headmistress could unleash another wave of terror. The other students, who had once been filled with pride and arrogance, were now mere puppets, their gifts twisted to serve the headmistress' dark purposes. But fate had a twist in store for Cynthia. On the day of her birthday, something miraculous happened. Deep within herself, Cynthia felt a warmth spreading through her body. It started as a small spark in her chest, growing steadily until it became a blazing fire. The potion's effects began to wear off, and with it, her powers returned, stronger than ever before. The chains that had bound her melted away, and the cell door burst open with a deafening crash. Cynthia was free. Energized by her newfound strength, Cynthia stormed into the city. Her presence was like a beacon of hope, reigniting the spirit of the oppressed citizens. With a single wave of her hand, she undid the headmistress spell, restoring the natural order and freeing the imprisoned good teachers who had dared to stand against the headmistress. The people, seeing Cynthia's incredible power and the kindness in her heart, rallied behind her. The headmistress, realizing that Cynthia's power had returned, tried to flee. She gathered what little remained of her stolen magic and cast a spell of invisibility, hoping to escape unnoticed. But Cynthia was too powerful. With a determined gaze, she spotted the headmistress and cornered her in the school's grand hall, the very place where the headmistress had once tormented her. In a final, desperate attempt, the headmistress tried to cast a spell to destroy Cynthia once and for all. But Cynthia was faster, stronger, and wiser. She raised her hand to cast a spell of light on her, but as she did, she heard a scream that opened her eyes, and she saw herself in a vision as a baby crying in the arms of the headmistress. The headmistress was her biological mother. She was confused. She was never told she was raised by another woman by her uncles. Like, share, subscribe and comment for part 2 of the story.